Hello, everyone. Jon Snedeker here from Notary Signing Agent Blueprint. Welcome to another episode of Signing Agent Secrets. Before we get started, go ahead and comment in where you're tuning in from. We appreciate it. And today we have a very special guest by the name of Tammy Duncan. Tammy's out of Drain, Oregon, and has been a notary for about 5 years in multiple states. And she is a newer signing agent just getting started. Tammy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So Tammy, let's start with your story before loan signings. What were you doing before you found out this was even a career for yourself?
Well, I am currently an insurance producer and I'm licensed in 5 states. And I decided to get my notary in Oregon because there are often times that there are documents in that arena that need a notary. So anything that's not, beneficial to me, obviously, of course, but anything that my customers need notarized, I like to be able to do that while I'm there and while I'm knee to knee with them.
Gotcha. So it was a compliment to what you already had sort of going on. That's awesome.
Yes.
And so with loan signings, was there any particular sort of aha moment that really sparked? So you're doing some general notary work, getting that piece of it taken care of, but you kind of stumbled into the loan signing piece of it. Was there anything that really turned you on about doing loan signings versus doing the other supplement work that was out there for a complement to your insurance business?
Well, one thing that I always like to do as a business owner is set myself apart from whoever else is out there, and especially whoever is already familiar with the relationships or in the industry has already made those connections. So I thought, what can I do to make myself special or stand out from what's already out there? And before I decided to take your course, I looked up who is here in my general area, who's in my county, who's in my city, who's right here that they're already using. And nobody had taken your course. And so I thought, okay, that will set me apart. And then,
Sure.
anything that is an extra credential I like, and it's just helpful. And I just thought, wow, that's a win-win.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the credential piece. I mean, it's sort of a resume builder, not just my program, but anything you can get on your resume, anything that helps you
Yes,
stand out from any sort of, competition or anyone in your area. Separating yourself from everyone else out there is just huge to distinguish yourself, because that's what you want to be known for. What do you want to be known for that's different than
absolutely.
anybody else that's going to give you repeat business? Could be anything,
Absolutely.
something you do, something on your card, something unique, something that you do in person. How are you going to be sort of top of mind of when they need a service, right? And so that
Exactly.
distinction is fantastic. You could do it a million different ways and get creative with it, but the more authentic anyone is with it, the better, because you want to sort of live and breathe it, and that's going to help resonate with them. They'll remember it next time, or more frequently
Exactly.
anyway. And if you just kind of stick in with everybody else instead of stand out, why would they call you as opposed to 15 other people, 20 other people? So that's a
Exactly.
great part. Now, so for loan signings, are you part-time? Are you full-time? Can you maybe talk about how you're making this work in your schedule, since you are, doing the insurance and you're licensed in multiple states? I'm not sure if you have to travel there or not, probably not, but I don't know. But like, how are you sort of fitting this into your schedule?
So I thought about that before I decided to take your course, because I always want something to be sound. I want it to be a sound business decision. I don't want to just jump to, another expense for no reason. Even
Sure.
though taking your course, I don't know if some people know, that's a tax write-off. So that's
Okay.
wonderful, right? That's
Sure.
always something that is very complimentary. However, because I do travel in various states and various counties, there are always those counties, especially here, that are rural. So I live in a little tiny town, and I found out on one of my business adventures this week that there was a woman that had reached out to me, had some questions about writing a policy for insurance, and she was a realtor. So I thought,
Mhm.
well, that's win-win. I'm going to, pick her brain and find out what she thinks about it. So when I went in, she told me some very valuable information to this area. And there are a couple of title companies that kind of really monopolize the smaller counties. So that was really important to know. And I wouldn't have known that otherwise. And she gave me some information, asked me actually to leave some of my cards with her because she told me she has the opportunity to choose her signer. So she said, I like you. I spent about 20 minutes chit-chatting with her, and I couldn't write her any insurance because she was covered every which way that there was. And
Right.
I closed my book.
You're hitting the bucket,
Said,
this bucket, that bucket, the
yes,
next bucket. What's the fifth bucket?
Yes. So I closed my book, and she said, what are you doing? I said, I can't protect you better. I'm not going to try to sell you something that you don't need. And she said, wow, I respect that. And I said, but I would like to talk to you about your business. And so as soon as I showed interest in her, and I really liked her and wanted to show interest in her, but I asked her about the loan signing agents that she had dealt with. And I asked her, as a realtor, when you are under the gun and you're at the 11th hour and you're trying to get something closed, what's important to you? What do you want to see from your notary that comes from your loan signing agent? And that was very, very good, pearls of wisdom. So that was really nice.
Guys, here's a clue. Get people to talk about themselves and their business and show a genuine interest in them, right? I mean, when you show a genuine interest in them, they're sort of taken aback and like, oh, wow, like they really do care, right? And obviously, if you don't care, whether you ask the question or not, it's going to come across like you don't. But when you show a genuine interest in someone else and you take the time to ask a very thoughtful question, by the way, very thoughtful. Hey, when you're up against the gun, there's a couple of hot buttons too with realtors. And one of them is, you can don't press real hard, but you can kind of push a pain point by asking, how has your experience been with other signing agents? Let me tell you, people remember the things more vividly when they've had a bad experience and when they've had a great experience. So when you ask, how have your other signing agents been in the past? They're going to remember like, ooh, and so that's your chance to stand out, right? And say, look, you got a bubbly personality, real professional. You're asking very thoughtful questions. What a perfect opportunity to just let them know how you can help take their business wherever they want to go. It's not about talking about you. It's always about, hey, how can you help them? What a thoughtful question to ask. And obviously, it doesn't surprise me that it actually went somewhere and they did want multiple cards, and you will eventually get some business from them.
It was
Maybe
exciting.
Not this minute, but when the next opportunity comes across, that's how it's done, guys. It's not that complicated, right? It's people to people, go out, shake some hands, and be genuine and really care about them. I mean, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, and she also said, before you get to the end of the transaction, she said, there are a lot of times that people need notaries and they're so busy in their life. She said, they can always stop by their bank, but she said, you're mobile and you put that on your cards. And she said, that's really helpful because a lot of times people can't break away from work, but they can take a 5-minute break, or they can take a 15-minute break, or you meet them on their lunch. Would you be willing to come and notarize documents to get them to that process? Because she said that's really the finish line.
Okay,
and
like a
if they're
bottleneck,
stuck,
right?
And she said if they're stumbling because they can't break away to get something notarized and you can come and help facilitate that process, she said that's just icing on the cake.
If you add any value, and I mean any value, and that's clearly valuable, I mean, they're going to remember you and develop a lifelong relationship because you care. It's the most simple thing is just being of value. Go solving a small or huge problem. Either way, the fact that you took the time to ask them a thoughtful question opened up doors. And that's just a perfect example of what it takes to succeed in business. Is it's not overly complicated, right? It's just doing the simple things that it takes on a daily basis. Go connect, go make relationships, go shake some hands, and that is fantastic. It's I'm happy that it's going to work out for you because some people are a little shy to go shake someone's hand. It's all up here, right? It's like it's always it's always scarier than it actually is. When you go there, like, oh, that's not so bad,
Exactly. Well, even before I had met her, on my way into town, I was a little bit early for my appointment, and I passed a realty office, and I thought, you know what? Here's my opportunity. This is a different county, new city. I'm just going to do it. So I went in with my cards ready, and and I asked if I could take some of the cards for their realtors, and they actually told me that they work with BankServe, and I hadn't yet
Hmm.
even, I knew what that company was, but I hadn't yet known that.
Right.
So then they also took the time when I asked questions about them and popped in and asked if I could take their cards. They got up and jotted down the address of the title company and said, go down, it's right down, down the street. So that was great. That was
Another
that was
connection.
excellent.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Tammy, a couple weeks ago, I went to my local county realtor board. A realtor board, it sounds sort of boring, right? But I walk in there, and guess what? A wall, and I mean like a huge wall of realtor, loan officer, title cards. This was a gold mine, and I've driven by it a million times, right? Because I do a lot of
Wow.
signings here. You walk in, and I sort of showed interest in their business, finding out maybe how I can add value. And it wasn't like exactly in the front desk. It was maybe down the hall just a little bit, right? And so
Okay.
that little bit of a 10-step walk was the only difference, going in there. Did I grab every single card? No, I didn't, but I can go back there at any time. I can grab all the cards. You want to link up with the title company people, and when you have their specific direct contact information, it's always better to connect with them that way, as opposed to sort of being the person off the street. That's what I say.
Sure.
You don't always want to be the person off the street. You want a warm transfer if you can, but finding sort of that gold mine of information is what it's all about. You don't need to do one to one to one to one. Go somewhere where you can get 100, right? And those realtor boards are, that's where I found a lot of success recently. And I want to share that with anyone listening, that go find your realtor board, go call up a realtor. And even if you don't know what that is, go ask them about it. They'll tell you where
Mm-hmm.
it is, if they have one. Maybe go down there with them, go shake some hands, and go use that as the warm transfer to get in that building to go find out where those cards are, right? It's not that complicated. And that's fantastic that you as a business owner drove by a place and a little spark went off in your head, said, I gotta stop. And that's really fantastic. Not a lot of people do that, and that's really sometimes all it takes.
Well, when I found the title company, I went down there. Parking was a little bit challenging, and
Sure.
so I kind of made that into like a joke when I saw the realtor. I said, "Oh, it's pretty interesting parking down there." And when I said the word interesting, she said crazy. So that was kind of funny. But
Right.
when I went inside the title company, there was a woman there, and she was kind of like a gatekeeper, kind of like warding people off.
Always a gatekeeper. Yep. So how did you
And
handle it?
well, I said, so I had my cards ready, to hand to her. And I told her that I had just spoken with the realty company and that they gave me the address to go down there. And I said, I understand that you guys are with BankServe. And she said, yes. And I said, that's wonderful. I would like to go ahead and give you my information anyway. And I will check that out and see what I can do to get into your rotation. However, things happen, life happens. Sometimes things get in the way. And if you need somebody to fill in the gap, if something happens, they can't meet you, I'm mobile, I can come. And she said, oh, we always need that. So that's always something that we, anything to get in, because I'm new. So
Tammy, and this is a perfect example. You went in through a warm transfer, which most people go in cold. They just walk in off the street, which is a horrible idea in my opinion, and a complete waste of time. But you went in warm. Not only that, most people go in and demand and say, I want to be your guy. I want to be your point person. I want to handle everything. Another mistake. In my opinion, it's another mistake to be aggressive, to be selfish, and in a way,
mm-hmm.
in their, and not in your eyes, but in their eyes, it can be look very selfish. You didn't do that either. You said, get in the rotation. I know you may have learned that somewhere, possibly through me or
From you.
otherwise, possibly from me or otherwise. But what I'm saying is that it's not always how you think it is, it's what they think you are. And so when you
Yes.
show them the respect of not only setting up an appointment or getting a warm transfer as opposed to going in cold, and then in addition to that, not going in and demanding all their business, guys. Go be a team player. Go get in the rotation. The walls came down, right? And so you have the
Yes.
gatekeeper. How do the walls come down, guys? Just a little subtle tips, tricks, what you say, how you connect with them, how you build rapport with them. The parking lot is a perfect way to build rapport. A lot of people talk about the weather, or, oh, you look, really nice today, or, XYZ. Hey, the parking lot's a little, interesting, right? Oh yeah, whatever. That is a perfect little connection to just be familiar, be comfortable, let those walls sort of naturally come down without having to really try for it. That's fantastic, Tammy. I'm
Thank
really
you.
proud of you, and I'm very, very happy because these are very simple hacks that anyone can do that people just don't really know exist. They don't really know there's a gatekeeper. They don't really know to not walk in cold, or they're not aware of the fact that you can have a warm transfer, or not be, quote unquote selfish by saying, hey, give me all your business for this county. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. That's what everyone does. And guess what? They do it month one, and then they don't get anything. They do it month two, and then they do the same thing month three, and they're done. That's the way it works. When you shift your mindset and think about how you can add value, you don't need to burn out by month three and give up. That's what most people do. You just shift your approach, know how it works, and that can make a world of difference. So do you have any particular income goals at this point? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I know you're just getting started, but any thoughts on goals?
So in the industry that I'm in, you make commission. So it's all commission, but they pay you in what's called a 9 or 12 month advance. So when you write a policy, you get paid based on what the annual premium is going to be. Okay. Your percentage. And sometimes you can get what's called a chargeback. So if you're sitting with somebody, they decide that product is for them, you write the policy, and then for whatever reason, they don't keep their policy, then you have to pay that back. With loan signing, you do that loan, you do 2, 3, 4 loan signings in a day or whatever. And that's work that you've done that there's no chargeback potential. So doing both, or supplementing, or getting started, I right now, and I don't think I answered your question earlier, I'm part-time because I'm just kind of, getting my feelers out there.
Sure,
But
smart.
I'm welcome to doing anything. And I already am on trajectory to make a 6-figure income with what I'm doing. But if I can balance or share that or whatever, I mean, that's great. With loan signing, no potential for chargeback. That's gold. So
yeah, that's a huge
exciting.
deal. And a lot of it is exciting, quite frankly. And think about realtors. Realtors can work 2, 3, 4 months. And guess what, guys? They don't always get paid. They don't always, the deal never closes. Sometimes the seller just says, you know what, I've had it, I'm sorry, it's 6 months in, and that's it. And they can go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of work, and then it's like, oh crap, or there's tons of delays. And so every business is unique and got its sort of challenges with that. But you're right. I mean, whether the signer signs or not, whether they show up or not, you may not get the entire full fee every single time, but some companies, if you play your cards right, you will. But the idea is you are getting paid for that work, and you're not having to wait 6 months. And you're right, there's not a chargeback sort of feature in this business. So you brought up some great points from how the pay structure is now to then. And that's awesome. Yeah, always be part-time, guys. No matter how bad you want it, no matter how bad you need it, take the stress off yourself. Don't tell yourself you need to make it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because guess what? If you're not a notary or you don't have your right credentials, you can't depend on the government to get you your notary commission in a certain amount of time. There's too many people involved to get you set up where it's out of your control, right? And so you can't put that time frame on yourself and that stress on yourself, because guess what? They're not going to move any faster regardless of how much you want them to. So start part-time, get your feet wet, but also build a very strong foundation. And obviously Tammy's got some business experience. She's got hustle. She's got a bubbly personality. You got a lot of the traits that just really come to mind of, what's important to make it in, America, regardless of what industry you're in. And it's just, the genuine ability to help people, the great personality, professional, and that little spark that says, you know what, I got to stop at this company. I can't just drive by there because it's going to bug me all day if I don't, right?
Right.
So you are just getting started with loan signings. Do you think that this is a job that anybody can do, or do you feel that there's sort of requirements to, be successful? What's your kind of take on that?
So obviously, if you can obtain a notary, you don't have crimes of moral turpitude. You don't have, issues of that nature. So, to answer your question completely, can anybody do this? If you're a good standing, yes.
Not if you're a convicted felon.
Once.
Okay.
So with that being said, if you can obtain the credentials, yes. And is it that difficult? No. But, just like in any other business, you're going to face objections. You're going to face things, just like that gatekeeper that was there. So, kind of just maybe because I have selling background, I don't know. But I try to approach every situation like, what can I do to help these people? The situation is here because
Perfect.
there's an issue that they're facing, right? And what can I do to help alleviate maybe their concerns or their fears? Sometimes I've actually had people that when they need something notarized, they're a little intimidated. Like, this is very, very business-like and very professional, and we're not really kind of like that. We're really laid back. And I go, oh, no big deal. I just need to verify who you are, make sure you're really you. And I just, and then they go, oh, so when you can communicate that, hey, I'm just here to help you, let's get this done, there, the red flags and the fears,
Yeah.
go
The
down. And
walls
if you
come
can,
down too. Yep.
exactly. So I just say, hey, you know what? It's just a fancy word. I'm just here to make sure you're really you.
Yep.
And when you sign this, I just watch, and then they go, oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. Go be their
So
buddy, guys. Go be their
yeah.
friend. Go be their buddy. You don't have to hang out with them, but you just got to do your job,
Right.
do it well. But you can look nice, dress nice, talk nice, but at the end of the day, you don't want to put everything on this pedestal that makes them be nervous, because that does, sometimes
Exactly.
I go out, I dress nice, and I may not talk the best, but the idea is some things I'll put up on a pedestal, but then I'm like, hey, how are you doing today? And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
like he's actually like a real guy, it's kind
Yeah.
of
Right.
nice. And you know what I mean? They kind of like, oh, that doesn't sort of, if they sort of scratch their head a little bit, and then they're like, oh yeah, this isn't so bad at all. So you got the insurance business, and so we'll talk about one thing that, with your insurance stuff, um, you can do anything. I'm not here to say what you don't. When you do loan signings, particularly at the signing, just be hesitant to not bring up any insurance stuff at the actual
Yeah. No
closing.
commingle.
However, what happens after the fact is sort of, on your turn. It's sort of a little bit of a clue. A lot of companies will say, do not drop off your business card except for loan signing. I actually don't.
Sure.
Personally, what I do, I don't drop off my business card to any signer ever. I exclusively do loan signings. I don't do anything else. When I was early on, I'd give my card to everybody, and I would get these general notary work calls that would drive me nuts. So what I did was I partnered in both states. Any general notary work call that I got, I told them to call one person that I was familiar with that did general notary work, and then I had that person just refer me loan signings. I found someone that only did GNW or general notary work, and so I gave them all of that stuff, and they gave me all their loan signings. And let me tell you, that's a great deal for both of
Wow.
us. It's
Yeah.
that simple. You don't need to give them any money. It's just, hey, send what you got. I'll send what I got, and that's it.
That's
And I do
great.
it in Connecticut. I did it in Florida. And so when you learn things like that to sort of get more business, open up the doors. Down here, I did the same thing for general notary work in the home county that I live in, but I
Mm-hmm.
serviced 3 or 4 counties. So my point is, if
Oh.
you can find someone in each county, you send them the GNW general notary work for this county, and then the other county you send it to someone else, and the other county you send it to someone else. And guess what, guys? You're getting 4 streams of new loan signing business. Okay,
Great.
so instead of sending it for one person and only getting one, you'll get their loan signings for each county when you do it with, say, 4. It's just a little tip
That's
to
great.
sort of open up the doors and help people. How can I help others too, right? It's not always about me. It's you're adding value to their life. And I've never met these people, right? I just have called them. They, answered some simple questions I had. I felt comfortable, and it's just a great, sort of win-win relationship. And so, I'm sorry, I think I lost track a little bit. So with the with the insurance business, and the loan signings, what does success look like for you? It's not going to be nothing in life is 50-50 with like your
Right.
time, right? So could you paint a picture of success maybe of maybe what that looks like to you, maybe 6 months from
Sure.
now or something?
Sure.
Maybe,
So,
what that looks like.
well, sure. And let me go back to something that you just mentioned, because I think it's very critical in being successful in both, and not having that conflict of interest. Actually, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because that's why when I went in to talk to that lady that happened to ironically be a realtor,
Right.
when we were done with what I was there for, she had requested that I come in and give her some information. I closed my book, kind of just a subtle indication of, we're putting that to rest and now we can move
Perfect.
on, because that is something that you want to make sure that you convey to anyone that you work with, that everything's above board, there's no conflict of interest, and I am here to help you with this need, and success in this industry, basically, I mean, in a nutshell, is just being there, being available, being helpful to the need. Because without these people, without the industry, without people needing to refinance or buy a house, they don't have a need for us.
Right.
We're here because they exist. So, I really liked in your course how you kind of really drove home the point that, we're here to help them. This is us to service their, facilitate their paperwork. This is a huge thing in their life. Most people, the biggest expenses that they have are their car and their home. And it's a big deal. And you want to make that a memorable experience and not a disastrous experience. So if you can be any little part of that and help that in that component of their closing, that's just wonderful for you
Yep.
and for them.
And you check,
So
if anyone's got anything going on in their personal life, check your baggage at the door, knock on their
right.
door, and shine for 20-30 minutes, guys. Smile, have some fun, be professional, but that doesn't mean you still can't ask them, hey, where are you from, kind of thing, blah, 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 how's the weather? All right, let's go ahead and knock out your paperwork, and just have fun with it. This is, some days are, yes, it's just paperwork. It can be a little bit boring some days, but you make a great living just helping people. I like to say, Tammy, as you know, you serve yourself through serving others. And you just said, without them, what do you have? You got nothing. If you can't help people, what are you going to do, right? If you don't have any people to help, guess where you're going? Not very far.
Exactly.
So if you
Exactly.
can help other people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And you serve yourself through serving others. And that's a huge part of my life. And I became more successful when I stopped thinking about me and I started thinking about genuinely helping other people.
Yes.
It is not a hard concept, and it is not that hard to do. But if you can genuinely go show an interest, close your book, ask them questions about their business, and thoughtful questions, but we're not creating a rocket and going to the moon, right? We're just helping people.
Right.
We're shaking hands and asking questions. That is amazing, Tammy. And that's a lot of value for people
Thank
watching
you.
that haven't gotten started, that are a little nervous, a little bit fearful, not sure how it really works. What am I going to really have to do? Not a whole lot, but if you do the right things, you'll do just fine.
Well, and in your course, even you say, like, I'm teaching you about the documents, because that's important. You need to know that. You need to know the process. That's important. But in a nutshell, it's a bigger picture than that. Yes, we're there to do that paperwork, but you have to convey professionalism. You have to convey also, some warmth and a genuine caring about them. Or, what are they going to say to the signing company or to the title company? Man, don't ever send that person again. I don't want to see them. Or are they going to say, wow, that was really wonderful. And I was really nervous at first, not sure what to expect. And then, wow, it just was really nice. Word of mouth referrals are worth more than any marketing money that you can put out there. And when you have people that genuinely take the time out of their day, it's quick for people to say a negative sometimes, but when you have people that take the time to reach out and say, hey, that was a wonderful experience, we really appreciated that, that's winning right there.
It's everything. It's absolutely everything. That's fantastic. So do you have any advice for people that haven't gotten started with loan signings? What's your
Oh
words of
gosh.
wisdom for them? Do you have any? Maybe you don't have any, but obviously you're just going through it right now. So what would you say to yourself maybe 6 months ago, right? Or someone that's a
You
little
know
shy
what?
or fearful or haven't taken that first kind of step. Any thoughts for that?
I would say don't stick your toe in the water, jump in. Just jump in because you're wasting time. Get your mind right, which that's so important because a lot of the battle that we have going on isn't even real,
It's
and it's just
internal.
us,
Yeah.
and if you can get yourself out of the way, don't stick your toe in the water, don't test it out, jump in, just do it.
That's a perfect thing, Tammy. I talk about the same analogy of jumping in a pool, and it's a real thing because some people jump in, do cannonball, some people will walk around it 10 times, some people will dip their toe in it and go back and sit down. If you're the person that says, you know what, I'm going to jump in because I'm gonna live, I'm going to be just fine, I might be uncomfortable for 2-3 minutes, and then you're great. It's just jump in. What's the worst that's going to happen? Like, this is your future we're talking about. There's people
Right.
that post in Facebook groups, not mine, but another Facebook. She's like, I make a minimum of like $4,000 a month part-time through loan signings. And what I tell people is like, I'll say like, you're going to make, a minimum of say 2 or something like that. But every month you're not in business, you're missing out on that 2,000, missing out on 2,000,
Yes.
missing out on 2,000. And when you start to sort of add these things up, you have people, I'm waiting for a coupon, I'm waiting until it gets busy, I'm waiting for this, I'm waiting for that, I'm waiting for the government. They'll wait their entire lives. I have people that say, I haven't started for years because of I can't figure out how to get started. Well, how many months have you? 6 months? Okay, 3 months, 2 months. Let's say 3 months. That's a minimum of $6,000 that you missed out. A minimum, part-time. And so how long are you going to continue to miss out on opportunities before you jump in the water?
Exactly.
That's the
And
best
I don't
analogy
know.
I have because
That's
it's
great.
the truth. It's the flat
That's
out
great.
truth. What do you think you're going to make? $200 in this loan signing business? I'll go make that in like 45 minutes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's not that hard. It's not to brag. It's like, no, $75 to $200 is basically the prices. If you got it figured out, you're obviously going to get paid more than if you don't have it figured out. But the
Right.
idea is, how long are people going to wait? And I hear it all the
Exactly.
time. They're just too nervous, too fearful. When you master the enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. It's all internal,
Exactly.
guys.
Exactly.
Tammy brought it up, and that's just a fantastic analogy because a lot of the battles people face are all just in their head. You got to get out of your own way, like Tammy said.
Yeah.
It's the truth, guys. It's an absolute truth. I couldn't have said it any better myself. Is there anything that so obviously you mentioned that you've been through a program. What made it, you said it was an excellent resource, you're super excited to get started, and 100,000 full-time as a goal. What made it stand out to you for people that have no idea, what we do or that there's a blueprint? Is there anything that sort of resonated with you that made you feel so strongly to leave a great review with us?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. When I had already gone through the NSA course, right? But I was still kind of like, I'm already a notary. What exactly am I going to do? When you took us through the course and you were like, go to this website, go to Notary Rotary, for example. I didn't even know that existed. I had no idea. I'm on on my laptop doing one thing, and on your course going, I'm signing up for Notary Rotary right now. Why wait? And I also was looking at other notary, what their bios said. What do they say? How do they describe what they do? And I would not have known about that unless I went through your course.
Right.
But what I also liked,
Yep.
what I also really liked and very much respected, by the way, I just want to tell you, all of the time that you took throughout the course to share your preferences for reading and to share your preferences, about the other authors. And that is huge because, when Thomas Edison created the light bulb, and he was getting all the notoriety and everything. And he was, from what everything I've read, he was very, very humble. And he said, I failed thousands of times. I just got it right once.
That's it. Yeah,
That's
guys,
huge,
don't recreate the wheel. Tammy, we get a lot of compliments on the leadership readings and everything and the quotes. It's a whole chapter of our program because it's important. It's like mastering the enemy within. It's all up here, guys. We are running out of time, guys. If you are watching right now, be sure to like and share this video. There's a lot of value. Tammy brought some golden nuggets to this meeting, to our Zoom call.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, Tammy.
Thank you so much.
If you're looking to boost your confidence and income, we do have an entirely free 90-minute training right on our website, notarysigningagentblueprint.com. It'll talk about Thomas Edison right at a good spot, about not trying to recreate the light bulb yourself, guys. You don't need to. People have it figured out, and obviously Tammy alluded to the fact that we help people and we genuinely care about your success. And that's the only reason our program exists. Otherwise, it wouldn't be out there. So thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.